charging.
Hola, soy Lola, and you're listening to the 3 Count Podcast.
Hit him with a 3 count. Pin him to the ground and the crowd go wild, man down, know what y'all like. Hit him with a 3 count.
Oh no, we gotta switch.
We got a glitch?
We have to switch.
Oh, run Speed Force. We back? We're back? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boy, your nephew, your cousin. It's the Don, Chaz Evans, and you're listening to, and you're watching, you're checking out the 3 Count Podcast Debate Show. Now, let me introduce the guy that's going head-to-head, one-on-one in the debate ring with me today. He's your friendly neighborhood Red Dog. He's the man that runs the show because, quite frankly, I really don't do much, okay? So, he's the landlord of the Dog Pound. He is the former Kayfabe Junkies champion. He's probably the best worker that you haven't heard of. Ladies and gentlemen, the Red Dog!
Yo, let me put this out there, right? So we do all the episodes for Now Entering the Ring, and like every single time, everybody's like, "Damn, what an intro!" or "Damn, I can't match that kind of energy." How the fuck do you match that? Like, we are a minute 30 into the show, and I've already dropped the first F-bomb.
Hey, we have not, listen, like, we really haven't done a show in a minute, bro. And so, yeah, we gotta get riled up, okay? Like, and because we haven't had a show in a while, I brought some guests with me. I got some guests, okay? So first off, right, everyone knows Sharon, right? I've had Sharon on before, as you can see right here. Right, this is the SCWA tag team title, okay? Me and my tag partner, Prince Machiavelli, almost at a whole year of holding these, okay? We defended this belt at another promotion, right? PWX, victorious, you know? So, you know, there's Sharon, and then this one's new, alright? This one is Shakira, okay? Alright, this is Shakira. 1CW Tag Team Championship, recently won by me and Prince Machiavelli at 1CW and out of Delaware. You know, just not to mention that we're also the Outbreak Quarantine Tag Team Champions. You just never got a belt, but hey, we're still champions nonetheless. You know, so check the show out if you're in the PA area. That goes down Friday, cheap plug. But yeah, I just wanted to introduce, you know, bring these guests on while I'm here on the 3 count.
It's funny because like we've already got people like saying, they're like, "Damn, you're too loud." But funny thing is, Chaz can't control the volume because, you know, it is what it is. It happens. So we're gonna put it on. What's up, Keith? Keith also says the belts look good on you.
I think so too. That's why they're never going away from me.
Oh man, I'm hyped though, man, that we're back. You know, we've been busy though, man. So aside from doing like obviously the live press conference show that we did last week that we got stood up on, it's been a lot of stuff that we've been like working a lot. And obviously we owe you guys that to let you guys know like what's been happening, because obviously, you know, we got family as well as like we're workers as well, so we do our own shows and stuff. So like, you know, Juneteenth we're at C3W, and then like we have vacations come up and stuff like that. So, you know, we wanted to at least let you guys know like, hey, we're here. And to be honest, randomly on Sundays we might not have a show because either myself or Chaz will be working, because, you know, our schedules are starting to fill up a lot.
It's the summer of ignorance, baby. So yeah. So we're back. So let's get right down to business. All right, let's do the quick intro announcements and all that jazz and everything. You know, the stuff that we're required to do. So look, buy a shirt, right? We got a 3 count podcast
Oh, I think Chaz.
Merch shop. Oh, wow. I saw that. Are we back? Are we good?
They're back.
In the Speed Force, man. Like, very messing up the timeline.
Yep.
All right, so, but okay, where was I at? So I did the shirt, Pro Wrestling Tees. There you go, boom. Right, whatamaneuver.net hosts our personal merch, which is you can find Red Dog merch there. All right, and you can find Pure Ignorance merch there as well. That shirt's not on there yet. If you want that shirt, you gotta contact us. Those are limited edition.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatamaneuver.net. You can find both of our worker pages. Support. All right. Subscribe. Okay, subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to our Clapper. I remember we have a Clapper. I don't know if we still have that, but
We do.
subscribe to that. We do. Gotcha. Follow us on all our social media accounts, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Twitter. I said that already. TikTok, Facebook, your favorite social media. We have it. All right. 3count_pod is the only different one. Everything else is 3count pod. Make sure you also, for our podcast listeners, make sure you subscribe on all your favorite podcast sites, whether it be Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, though, if you don't mind, give us a 5-star Frog Splash review and tell somebody about the favorite wrestling podcast that's unheard of, but really is heard of, because everybody wants to get on the 3count podcast.
Yeah. Also, don't forget to give us a review on Spotify as well, because
Yes.
Spotify does the reviews. So
It does. Spotify does do reviews now. Correct. So yes, definitely give us a review there. Cliff, what we got coming down on Now Entering the Ring?
Yo, actually, before we talk about what's going on now in Ring, I do want to bring up the Clapper page, right? So I put up our wrestling match. And talked about like how we we have fun and stuff like that. And randomly, our video has blown up. We had like 3,000 views on the video. We had this one comment, and this person just wrote, "I hate wrestling," and then put like the eye rolling emoji. So I like wrote back, and I was like, "Yo, why?" And they just didn't reply. So then I decided, I was like, let me cut a video. I was like, yo, like, and I addressed it, right? And her name, her Clapper name was like Sexy Mama or something like that. I'm like, all right, cool. So anyway, like, I replied.
You should have known at that point that was a troll.
Yeah. If you go look at her videos, right? Her video has one video that says, like, if you have no content and you're trying to follow me, I'm just going to block you. I was like, all right, bet. But you totally came on and just put this one comment. So I got to know, like, what burned you so much that you legitimately had to take the time to write on my page and put, I hate wrestling? Because I was like, are you mad because my video has more views than, like, you do followers, or maybe just the likes are more than your followers? Like, I'm just curious. Like, what is it about it that made you so mad that you had to comment this one little sentence? What energy did you try to put out? And I was like, forget her. I was like, let me do this video. And that video, as of right now, as we're talking about it, right? I put it up 3 minutes before we went live. It's already at 136 views. And it's like, I look back at her followers. I think she has like 111. I was like, bruh. I was like, I know you mad right now that I'm able to do something like that.
Facts.
Yeah. Let's talk about Now Entering the Ring, right? As you guys know, we do put out every episode. It comes out Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then every once in a while you get a Wednesday show. So this week you are getting 3 episodes. Okay,
3,
like 3 count. So on Tuesday you're gonna get the Alpha Dog himself, Adam, is gonna be joining us, which is a lot of fun. He's a great dude. I really enjoy talking to him. Come Wednesday, it is Now Entering the Ring 201, and in that itself, Lane Rosario came back on the show. You guys, if you guys been following us for a while, you guys know that she was a part of our debate team. She also had her own episode of Now Entering. We also had her on Now Entering with Gabby Gilbert. So a lot of cool stuff, and she came back and talked to us. And then on Thursday, it is Johnny Moran will be joining us in the ring, so we get to talk with him. And then from there, man, we have a whole slew of new interviews that are coming out. One that I'm super excited about, and I will talk about it now, and I'll probably talk about it more up until the date that the episode comes out. I think it's August 11th is the date I have it slated for. Kid Bandit is going to be joining us on the podcast in the ring. So Now Enter Ring with Kid Bandit is going to be coming soon. I'm excited. If you guys don't know who Kid Bandit is, I implore you to please go watch Kid Bandit's stuff. It is amazing.
Factual, definitely, absolutely. Let's get right down to the nitty gritty. Let's start. Let's debate. Let's talk. Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks. Where do we start? We've been gone for a while, but let's just go off the recent. Apparently, her asking price is reported that a promoter. Mind you, this is her booking fee, not to wrestle. This is just an appearance. Okay, $30,000, and that's not even to wrestle. It's just to appear. All right, people. The talk about it is that she's not really worth that. Like, we're talking like that's on the level of like a Sting and like your Hall of Famers. So you think Sasha's worth $30,000 just to appear? Now, mind you, not even to think on what she's asking for to just wrestle.
Do I think that Sasha Banks is worth $30,000?
Oh yeah, do you think that's a fair asking price? Should she be like? What do you think?
Absolutely not.
Oh, buddy. Okay. Cool.
Because she is worth way more than $30,000. Like, hey, yo, $30,000 I think is fair. In the aspect of asking, like, when it comes down to like legends, like obviously, like, one name I'm not even gonna mention, just redacted. Sting. You put on with like Goldberg. You talk about like a Roman Reigns, a John Cena, The Rock, Stone Cold. All those names are massive. You're wondering, but he wears red and yellow. That's all you need to know.
That's what I thought you were talking about too. Like protected.
I think Sasha being a Grand Slam champion, right? Being one of the first African American wrestlers and African American females to main event a WrestleMania. She's a sure shot Hall of Famer. You mean like everything about Sasha Banks fits, right? I have no quarrels with saying that $30,000. I, as a consumer, will have a problem because I know that when they go, hey, we want to, if you want to do autographs and pictures, it's going to be like $250 to do the meet and greet. And I'm going to be like, no, I only want to pay $30 because I feel that it's fair for me. But for her, no pun intended, but sky's the limit. Like she can ask for whatever she wants, and it would be fair. I mean, I think to a T. I think if you were like $100K, now we're asking for way too much. But if she would have put out there $60K, I would have been like, yeah, that's probably in the right ballpark. I mean, given where she stands where she stood in the company and how she was being presented to America, yeah, I think it's fair.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, she's crossed over. She's gonna get not just your wrestling fans, she's gonna get your Star Wars fans. Like, we're not forgetting, she is, she's a whole Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's a whole, like, not even like just some random Mandalorian. No, she's she's supposed to be. I think she's in the next season as well. I think they showed her in like that trailer when that just leaked out. But yeah, like $30,000. Like, how dare a black woman, set out how much, set her worth?
Yeah.
And like, Sasha, then today, I think it was today. I think I saw it on Twitter. Charlotte debuted 9 years ago.
It's so crazy to think. Almost a decade.
Almost a decade. Do you know?
That's on the main roster. That's not even including like her.
That's right. That's not even her in-ring. That's just from NXT. Charlotte was 9 years. So Sasha's around that same time, maybe a little bit before. If I'm getting my dates right. So let's think. Not even a decade. You know the last person who left WWE before they were even in there for a decade, and it was a big star. His name, is my cousin, Dwayne Johnson. Rock only wrestled 7 years, bro, and then he was on the Hollywood.
Yep.
And now look at The Rock. Am I saying by no way I am saying that Sasha Banks is The Rock and that Mercedes is on the equivalent of Dwayne. I'm not saying that at all. Not putting the comparisons out there. It's just she has that star power. She's a star. Like,
I would say it. Sasha Banks is a needle mover.
Facts. There you go. Factual. Yes.
A needle move. If we wanted to play in the aspects of like her comparative to what, like, I don't know, Dwayne was, she is far beyond from what Dwayne was. And people would be like, Sasha Botch? Yeah, that's her. Like, shut up. Like, Sasha Banks, on a level compared to The Rock, she's on point. Like, she's held just as many championships. She's a Grand Slam. You know, she's done everything that. The only thing The Rock never won a Royal Rumble, did he? I don't think he ever did. But I could tell you what, Sasha didn't either. But you know what they both did? Main event at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she had like match of the night twice at WrestleMania. Because let's be real, when they debuted the new women's title on Raw,
yes,
Becky and Charlotte just destroyed it. That's what we talked about. That was the match we talked about. We didn't care. There are other matches out there we talk about, but yeah, we talked about her mainly. That was the match that we talked about. So you can't tell me that she's not on Dwayne's level. It's just that Dwayne has done a lot of other stuff outside of wrestling that would put him above her, of course, right? But in the aspects of what they've done in the wrestling business, nah, man, Sasha is definitely on that level. And no one gonna tell me different. Can't tell me nothing.
Oh, we're back in Speed Force again. I saw that. I think we're back. The Rock, the fact check. Rock did win a Rumble. It was Rumble 2000.
Okay, well then, Sasha still did a lot of stuff, and that means nothing.
I think isn't she the record for being in the longest?
Yeah, she's an Iron Woman.
Yeah, because then she go in there. No. Bianca does.
Yeah, Bianca. Well, she was the first. She was an Iron Woman. We'll put it that way. She was the first because in the first Royal Rumble, Sasha was the person.
Oh yeah, because Sasha came in at 1. I remember one time, and she like, I think I'm not. Yes, I'm.
One though, right? Because I don't know. I know she was in there. One time she was in there for like 50 minutes or something.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, maybe that probably was the first one.
When Brie and Nikki both eliminated her. This is the very first Royal Rumble.
Yes, it was the one. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think it was the first one. But yeah, but yeah, you have to look at it like this, right? As the WWE, let's say the WWE is the NFL of football, but the NFL is not the only football league in America.
Right.
You know, and let's just say, and this is a crazy analysis, but bear with me, guys. Let's just say T.O., right, in his prime, because let's say Sasha's in her prime. I think Sasha still has, even if it's been a decade, I think she still has years if she ever decides to still do it. Think of like as T.O. in his prime going to play in like the American Football League or the XFL in 2000. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, not to compare like T.O. and Sasha by no means, but that status of a player, of a star, of an athlete, going, from being on worldwide television, like, boom, who's also in, Star Wars, for Christ's sake.
Is greater than T.O.
Absolutely. I mean, T.O. is my favorite players growing up.
It's just, Sasha compared to anybody except Dwayne would be honest. Listen, to be real, as far as like her wrestling career, there's only one person that I would be like, hey, this is the same person who had a similar impact. Like, Sasha's impact in the women's division is equivalent to John Cena's run for like the 10 years that 10 years that he held WWE down. That was his run. Sasha was the same impact. Like, she came in, she made noise right off the jump when she debuted on the main roster, and she held it down. And I think it's crazy that we're over here like, really, 30,000? That's a lot. That I would think to myself, that's like, that's average. Like, you should be her herself, probably closer to that 55,000. But I would also, if you think about an aspect of like consumers like being able to come through and like see her, like, she's gonna have to take a cut.
Oh, yeah, no, that's factual. That's factual. So I mean, like I'm saying, who else? She's not your indie wrestler. Like she's no, you know, no disrespect to the indie community because I mean we're a part of that community, but I keep it I keep it a $150. She's not your indie wrestler. Like no, she is legitimate. She's a legitimate star in the entertainment business. And if you want her to come to something, being that's what she's worth, then hey.
Yeah.
Like
that's a good point too. Like Star Wars fans are gonna come see her because she was in Star Wars.
Exactly.
And she's very marketable. Like just listen, she is a very gorgeous young woman. And you if you want to be able to put her in something, you can put her in about everything. Listen, I'm sure Tyler Perry's out there writing a movie right now just so he can get Mercedes in the movie.
You know what? It's probably true. Like, yeah, she's marketable.
Yeah, she's marketable amongst all sorts of people. That's what's so cool is that she's got this unique perspective, kind of like how Dwayne did, how John Cena does, how Batista does. They just have this unique fan base that's going to follow them everywhere, regardless. And then you keep building up, right? So Dave Batista, another perfect example of someone that you have him in the 007 franchise, you have him in the MCU, you have him in wrestling, you have him in Dune, right? Like all these people are gonna follow Dave everywhere he goes.
He was also in a video game. Dave was in a video game. He was in Gears of War.
He's in Gears of War. So and I'm just saying that when you look at that aspect of those guys, damn, dude, Mercedes is on that same level as what Dave is, what John is, what Dwayne was or is. It's just how do you miss with someone like her?
Not factual. You think she's gonna join the MCU? You think they got something for her?
Bro, if she goes, we can have fun with this. Who would she play though? I want to know. Who would you?
Ha! Wow, this is a wrestling podcast. But who would she play? I don't know. You gotta let me sit and think on that one. I can't. I don't know.
Because I will tell you this, I would love to see a different spin on Rogue and have Mercedes beat up her.
You know what's funny? I was thinking of an X-Men 2. You say Rogue, I say why not have her try to be Storm? I know people cast, they were saying Jade is Storm and everything. And I can see that too as well. I feel like the same way. If they're gonna cast anybody as X-Men for Storm, you need to cast Jade. That's Storm to a T. But I wouldn't mind seeing her. Now that you bring up Rogue, I don't. Why not put her as Jean Grey?
So in the aspect is I was just looking at different aspects of a different MCU star, right? So
yeah,
it could be. I just didn't want to typecast her because obviously you could put her in as Storm, and that's just you wouldn't.
No, actually,
I would love to see her.
I like it. What about Jean Grey? I think she killed as a Jean. As long as you don't do Phoenix.
Everybody has to do Phoenix for some reason.
But can we? There's other stories. It's not Phoenix. But we're getting there. Let's go back to wrestling.
There's so much. There's so much you could do.
But yeah, there's so much other X-Men stuff. I read X-Men comics, so there's so much stuff they could use. And I personally like the X-Men.
Let me get her at Gwenpool.
Gwenpool. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Sorry, y'all. My camera just broke.
Yeah. Are you okay? You were in Speed Force, now you're out. Okay, back. You're back in. All right. There we go. Well, it's not me this time.
Nope.
Amazing, but yeah. All right, let's move on because we can start. Fan casting for the MCU with different wrestlers all we want. But yeah, let's move on. Temp check. All right, so those who don't know already, temp check. We give you our hottest and or coldest wrestler of going into this week of wrestling. So, Cliff, temp check.
Yo, so let's talk about our coldest wrestler, right? I already know who Chaz is gonna pick, so I don't need to go that route. But I would say my coldest wrestler of the week for this week. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like the New Day. It's the first time that I have to kind of put him on the list, man, because like, yo, I know they're doing this whole storyline with the Viking Raiders and stuff, and I know like the Viking Raiders just got like this new look, more heelish. But yo, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not feeling the angle that they're running right now, and I'm just kind of like, kind of going cold for me, man. But I will say this: my hottest wrestler of the week is going to be Claudio Castagnoli, because let's be real, this man has been on a tear the last 2 weeks, and the fact that him and Jonathan Gresham are going to face off for the ROH title, yes, 100% yes, all the yeses.
You already know my coldest wrestler. All right, Shawn Spears. Like, just the chairman himself. Shawn Spears, coldest wrestler of the week. Longest streak of coldest wrestler in 3 Count podcast history. But hey, when you're garbage, you're garbage, and he's garbage. Everything Shawn Spears does is hot garbage. And Rico Hendricks, because you like Shawn Spears, you might actually be garbage too, bro. But I still love you. But yeah, hottest wrestler, crazy enough, I was going to say Claudio as well. Nah, man, I'm absolutely stoked for Claudio and Jonathan Gresham. We can do match of the week now because this is leading to my match of the week. So match of the week, my match of the week is Jonathan Gresham and Lee Moriarty. I mean, God, basic, simple, and it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, man, like, if you could give me ROH matches like this every week on Rampage, you got me. You got me. Like, I think that's what they should do. If they're not going to have a specific show for ROH, let there be ROH matches on Rampage.
Yes.
And you can still do a pay-per-view like they're doing. But, yeah. That's just, I like this. I'm all for this card, really. So, on Pure Ignorance Day, because that, you know, that's Pure Ignorance Day, no one knows, is this Saturday. That's the day Pure Ignorance was formed. So, it's a black holiday.
Regional.
Yeah, regional black holiday. But yeah, nah, I'm super stoked, bro. Super stoked for that. But yeah, my match of the week is Gresham and Lee Moriarty, since we're just gonna segue into it. What about you?
Bet no, I like that match. And you're right. Technically, that match was like super simple. I love the story that they were telling behind it too, where they were saying that you know, that because he was a pure champion for so long, that they that I bet I went to Speed Force again, right?
Yeah, we did. We definitely did. But I can still hear you, which is crazy.
But something that they said was like they were telling a story about how like they you know, that because he was the longest pure wrestling champion, he just didn't strike very much, and so that was an advantage that Lee got. So I was definitely hyped like hearing that aspect of the story. My match of the week is gonna be pretty cool because it was something that was on Impact, but we do got to talk about Josh Alexander and Motor City Machine Guns versus Violent by Design. It was on Impact. If you guys didn't get a chance to check it out on Thursday, do so. It was a treat. It was definitely great. It was right off the jump, so it's the very first match that you get to watch. So go enjoy it.
Again, people, if you don't watch Impact, you're doing yourself a disservice as a wrestling fan. We can't put over Impact enough here on the 3 Count podcast. You need to watch Impact. If anything, if you want to get away from WWE, if you're tired of it, you need to check out Impact. Okay, check out Impact. Impact is really good. It's stuff that's not on Twitch anymore.
Yeah, it does.
That's how I was. That's really how I used to be able to watch it, because I had, I only had Twitch for Impact. But
what's crazy is
I don't have that.
We're talking about the match of the week, and we have to acknowledge that if I had a second place match to pick, because there's not the power rankings today, sorry guys, but another match that needs to be talked about, and this would have been my number 2 match, Swerve in My Glory going over Team Taz and the Young Bucks, because that match too
Yes.
was fire.
Oh yeah. That match was fire. What you call it was fired. Moxley and yes, that match. My goodness,
Yes.
I don't keep up with New Japan, but ever since he came to AEW, oh yeah, I like him. I like this. Gotta do my Vince McMahon impression. It's good shit, brother. It's good shit. I'm a fan. And then it's like anytime he's wrestling, I'm like, oh, I have to see it. He's gonna hit somebody. And
I think it was just like in Ohio, Takashita. I think he was in Ohio doing a wrestling seminar. I forget. I think it was with War. I
Word.
don't remember. Yeah, it was close to us, and I was like, I if I wasn't like already like booked, I would have like, I really want to go to this because
So he was going to a seminar.
yeah, and
He was going to a seminar. So is he just okay? He must be doing that.
you know, it was in the $40 range too, and I was like, oh shit, I really do want to go see this
Oh,
and go be a part of it. But yeah,
speaking of seminar, are you going? No, are you? You're booked.
where?
I feel like you are, but O'Shea's. We're totally talking about this live, but hey,
Yeah, wait, when's O'Shea's?
what is it? Is it PWX?
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna be in 1CW.
That is yes, that is. You're right. That is
We're
one.
gonna be in Delaware.
That is, you're right. That is one CW.
I was like,
I remember we were some. I know. Pure Ignorance was. I wasn't sure if you were with us. I just don't remember. I knew that date was a booking,
yeah, I'm
and I
definitely.
seen it. I was just like, oh man.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, if you guys are wondering, this is typical conversations that we end up having too.
Yeah, that's
We're
it.
gonna be in Delaware. Like,
You're right. Yeah. Okay. So you are. Yeah, it is on CW. I just knew it was the date.
Yeah, because ain't nobody else hit me up about being at that show.
Anyway, so we're gonna keep moving on here. Topic 2. Oh man. Any comments, Cliff? While we're here.
Hey, yo, Rodney was the last one who popped in. What's up, Rodney? And he was just saying what's going on.
Oh, okay. Hi, Rodney. What's good,
Oh,
man?
I'm sorry. And Keith. Keith, you
Oh, Keith.
good for her. You know your worth, and they'll pay. You're worth what they pay you. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Ben, I'm glad you said that, Keith.
Anyway, all right. It was reported that Monday Night Raw, baby, is moving to TV 14. All right, TV 14. So, what do you think this means for Monday Night Raw, Cliff?
This means that we're going to get a whole lot of craziness going on. Hopefully, you know, I was watching a video. They were talking about, so it was a part of Cultaholic, and they were talking about the differences between like PG to PG-14. And like just one like example would have been John Cena, right? How his move was called the FU, and then they changed it to attitude adjustment. Yeah, so there's like this play going back and forth. It's very interesting to see, and to figure out. Like I want to see what's gonna happen, if they're gonna get grittier. Because remember, like they've tried this whole like AO like Raw After Dark and like all the other stuff, Raw Underground, and I think that was even just last year they tried Raw Underground. So they've tried like so many things to get people to watch Raw, and Raw's like on a good momentum right now of like getting viewers in. So seeing what's going to happen with it going to TV 14, it'll be interesting to see. But I expect to see like a lot more of like the adult kind of tone to it that it had back in the 90s. And this was something I was thinking about, was that if you look at how the eras progress, right? If you look back at like the golden era, how that was more kind of like, hey, this is family oriented. And as, you know, us kids, I would say, got older, we got into our teenage years, people were like, oh, bet that's the market we're gonna hit. We're gonna hit with like these more adult themes. We're gonna tell kids to suck it. You know, Austin flipping the crowd off, and like, you know, The Rock calling people a bitch, and like everybody going crazy with it, right? And then they went back to this adult, this child, this family friendly kind of scenario. But now what they're noticing is that 18 to 45 range, that was us from when we were at the DX phase. So I think they're like, all right, let's market a little bit more towards like these guys because they're going to bring their kids in, and then we'll have this cycle all over again where in like 8-9 years we'll see it go back to a PG style, and then 8-9 years after that we'll see it flip over to more of an aggressive, like an adult style. So it'd be interesting to see, but that's kind of what I'm expecting.
The funny thing is this: when you bring that up, I didn't think about it that way. I don't think nothing's really changing. Besides, I think we're going to get a lot more. I believe we're going to get more swear. We're going to get more cursing. I do believe that we're going to get more F's and some S's and some B's. And it was funny. I was
over here cursing, and you're over here like censoring the shit out of it.
Oh well, I just thought we were. You said we were trying to clean up the image on the 3 count, so I was. Well, fine then.
Say that we was trying to clean. Okay,
that's fine then. We might get some bitches. We might get some fuck, some shits, some hell, some damn. I got
it. You legitimately okay. So anybody who's trying to figure this out,
we had a whole conversation about it.
We had a
we
whole
did last week too.
About okay. So we'll put this out there, and I'll put this in Spotify too, so you guys can answer this question. So Chaz and I have been talking about cleaning up the show, right? And not dropping as many N-bombs.
That's all, and I take that. I
started a con.
I take the, and I agreed. I agreed on that term. I agreed on that, and I said fine, but we would have to do it, full fledged. And you were like, you're right, cool.
But I'm still saying that, like, in the aspect of things, I do understand because, like, obviously, like YouTube, they're going to demonetize you because there's cursing and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Get monetized for this show anyway. We
right.
kind of depend on you guys to like watch our show and then like in the comment and then subscribe to it. But more importantly, if that's something that you guys want us to do, is to kind of clean up the language and stuff like that, let us know, and we'll start taking that stuff into account. But as of right now, we got to start with at least one word. And that's a word that, like, you legitimately brought it up. And the way you brought the example was, hey, you got to look at this as a brand, which is this is our brand.
Right.
But it should be reflective. And we have to be reflective about who we are, too. We can't change all that stuff. But if there's things here and there that we can change up, then by all means, let's change them up. But I'm just saying, for you guys at home, you guys watching this right now, even on Past Repeats and even on the podcast, if you would like us to slow down on the cursing and stuff, let us know, because we'll definitely do that.
Right, exactly.
Now back to TV14.
But yeah, I think we'll get some more cursing. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine just actually yesterday. We were talking about it. It reminded him of like Raw Underground and how they were trying to do that, and how we'll get the girls dancing, And I don't think we'll get too much of that because of Steph being in charge, and we'll get to Vince later, but with Vince, more guys, more he's more on his way out the door than anything. I think with Steph in charge, she's one of the head people, that wanted to clean the stuff up with the woman in the first place. So I don't see Steph making that ultimate choice of having like, all right, cool, we're gonna degrade the women after we've gone, so far, we've came so far, even though, people have this perspective on the women's division, whether they, their matches and whatnot, but the image of women wrestlers they have cleaned up on. So I don't think we'll get too much of the sexual themes, but I definitely think you're going to hear more swear words. We're going to get some more adult, storylines. It's not going to be a typical, every time I think of PG era stuff, I always think of the Michelle McCool, the Lay Cool, and Mickie James angle when they were just bullies. We won't get that. We'll get some more actual adult things. Maybe somebody, like Kurt Angle's wanting to sleep with Booker T's wife. We might get something like that again.
I just need a follow-up to Mae Young and the hand. Like, I just want to know.
No, I see it now. That we can skip over that. We don't have to bring that one back.
But the one thing I just don't want to see, right? And this is what I don't want to see from like WWE, right? I just don't want to see like, hey, listen, I know a lot of people are gonna get mad when I say this. I don't need to see bra and panty matches.
Right. Right. I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's more along the lines of the storylines or whatnot. You might see a more like a marriage angle, like you know how Lita and Edge used to be, and how people were together. We might do some stuff like that.
I would, yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get into bra and panties matches and mud baths and the bikini contest and crap.
Yeah, I don't care about all that aspect. But I will tell you this, and this is gonna sound kind of, and sorry if this sounds kind of sick. I would not mind seeing some color on some females.
Oh, color. So
It sounds crazy, but
that does sound crazy. And the thing about it, we might.
Yeah.
We might.
There should be, like, I'm gonna be honest. There should be no, because like think about it, the first Hell in a Cell match and the first Elimination Chamber match. All those dudes were bloodied up, right? To see what the Elimination Chamber has become now,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you did it because of marketing reasons now, but that match, that is meant to be like a busted open match. Like you,
Yeah.
like, there's no, I get caught off guard because like, I remember like at one time, like I think everybody in the Elimination Chamber match was like busted open and discussion. And I'm not saying they have to be like, obviously, like you don't have to paint their face red, right, crimson red. But hey, like if someone gets busted open in that match, that's supposed to happen. Like you should not tell me that someone gets thrown through a plexiglass, right? And like all of a sudden it's just like, nothing happened to him. There's not a scratch. No, let them get busted open. Like
Right.
I know a lot of people are gonna be like, no, women bleeding is too much for me. Hey, knock it off.
Nah.
This shit happens.
No, absolutely.
A lot of you all watch UFC and watch like just people
True.
get busted open. So it's like it shouldn't be any real difference.
Yeah.
Sorry to tell. You're gonna miss out on some. You'll probably have to drop WWE.
I agree. I definitely agree. But yeah, TV14. I think we'll get more blood. We'll get more, cuss words. But we gotta remember they still got shareholders and stuff like that and sponsors that they can only go so far.
Yeah.
And I don't think, and they wouldn't. I also feel like they wouldn't do it if it was going to have them lose money. I think I think this is the step in the right direction because of the fact that Vince is on his way out to not lose money. Because I think about it, if Vince goes, like, if all this goes bad for Vince and he's like permanently gone, there's some people who he'll stop and they'll go and start watching AEW just because they're it's Vince. But I think this is them going low key setting himself up. Because they're right, it's that 18 to 49 demographic is what's watching wrestling. I mean, think about it, what AEW is doing with that demographic. Like they're selling out places, and sooner or later they're going to be on that level where they're going to be doing stadiums. Like this, Arthur Ashe is probably almost sold out when they go back up there in Queens. Like. They sell these joints out. So yeah, I think we're not going to get bra and panties matches. We won't. It's not going to go that. It's not going to go that route.
No, we're not going to get all the like. I know because as a kid, I remember as a teenager, like growing up through the era, like I enjoyed all that stuff. But we're not getting that back, and that's fine. I'm okay with that because I want to see. I want to see some legitimate matches between females. I don't want to see these 30-second to like 5-minute match where like it's just you get hit with a drop kick and a roller. Like that's it. I don't want to see it. I want to see some legitimate 8 to 10 minute matches with some of these female talents that will tear it up on the stage. And I think that's what we deserve. And I think that's what they deserve too. Like what females deserve in WWE. So as far as the TV14, like, hey, this is what you guys need to do. Step up.
Facts. All right, let's talk about Vinnie Mac.
Actually, hold on. I just got this message in. Shout out to Rick Elsley for this, right? July 23rd, they're going to talk about this. Saturday. This is in Lubbock, Texas, by the way, so it's cool that, thank you for checking us out. but they do have their event going on, Jake's Sports Cafe in Lubbock, Texas. So guys, go check that out. Doors open at 5:30, bell time at 6, and tickets for 10 plus at the door. So you guys go check that out. Gino Rivera, Gino Told You Soul is gonna be on the show. Jitsu Mac is gonna be on the show. A couple people that we've had on the podcast is gonna be there. So definitely go check it out. I definitely just want to put it out there real quick because it's cool that people are gonna slide in my DMs and drop me their show posters and tell me then talk about it on the show. Appreciate it.
Outbreak as well. Since we're putting out shows stuff, Outbreak this weekend at the historic Hamburg Fieldhouse. They got a whole weekend line of stuff. There's like a waffle meet and greet stuff. There's a couple, like 4 tickets left, I think, for that. Friday night, Outbreak Quarantine 2-year anniversary show. That's Friday night. Neil Murtos from Lucha Underground will be there, so shout out to him. Your boy's Perseverance is going in there as well. Go kick some New York butt. Then Saturday they have the Legends of Hamburg convention. Booker T's going to be there. Dexter Lumis is going to be there. The Acclaimed is going to be there. The Rock and Roll Express are working. They're wrestling for the Outbreak Bash Street Tag Team Championship against leaders of the New School, Robbie Racky and Bad Banks. So yeah, definitely shout if you're in that area, Hamburg, Pennsylvania. Show out. You can't say you don't have nothing to do this weekend if you want to see some wrestling. If you're in that area, Hamburg. So yeah, definitely come to the Friday show because you can meet up with your boy. I'll take a picture with you, and then you can say, hey, you were with the host of the 3 Count Podcast.
Facts. Hey, real quick, I do want to talk about this BCW Buzzsaw Championship Wrestling. As you guys know, we have an affiliation with them down over in Amarillo, Texas, as well as in Oklahoma. We seem to be growing a little bit, so you guys check us out all over there. But do you want to talk about these kind of matches that we have going on? Shout out to Ryan Justin, picking up the win against Draven Reeves. We also have Mac the franchise versus DL Harley. DL came up on top. Third match of the night, Jason Zane got the win over Pierce Price. Los Cardenes, who actually they were supposed to be on our show, but for some reason we kind of just missed out. They got the win over Chris Watson and Charlie 50, which shout outs. One of the people that we've had on the show, Aaron Harms, he also picked up the win against Gabriel Alexander. They got the win over Chris Watson. Then also we had Axel Savage getting a win over Baby Samoa and Eric Grayson. And last but not least, another person who's been on this show before, Wildcard, got his win over Tino Valentino. So wanted to give the big shouts to BCW Buzzsaw Championship Wrestling, which definitely helps promote our show down in Texas. So we want to give love to them while they are sending us, the results from last night's show.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Vinnie Mac. Go ahead, Cliff. You've been waiting. Go ahead. Bring it up. Go ahead. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Let's talk about Vinnie Mac, because this is definitely something we haven't been around for a long time. So as this story kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, Wall Street Journal put out an article talking about Vince McMahon had paid somebody some hush money, and that it could have been more, but it was an NDA. Then a couple weeks later, we saw another Wall Street Journal interview come out, talk about Vince McMahon paying a few people, we'll say 4, just for this instance, because that's what they're talking about, $12 million in hush money. A lot of people have been kind of all over the place on it. Chris Jericho was on a podcast talking about it, said that was it right? No. Is it against the law? No. Is it something that's going to bring me down Vince McMahon? Probably not. But a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on it. I personally think it's kind of crazy because I happen to have a couple of close friends who know for a fact that one of the people may be in Baltimore. I don't know. I'm not putting it out there. I'm just saying that could have been something that happened. Speculations, allegations. We're not liable for anything. It's all hearsay. Speculation. Okay. Learn that in the Johnny Depp trial.
That's all it is. It's all the speculation at this point, really.
All speculation. But yeah, so I think it's a crazy situation because it really affects WWE. WWE took a hit in the stock because obviously Vince McMahon said he was stepping down. They asked Steph to come off of her vacation to take over as an interim CEO and chairperson of the board, because Vince
Chairwoman. That's what it is. Chairwoman. Chairwoman.
She is the chairwoman, and and you saw Vince McMahon is still ahead of creative though, so he's still there. And I remember like that Friday that report dropped, Vince was like, I'm gonna come out on SmackDown and we're gonna talk about it. And they did it. He just came out and legit said, in the beginning of this video package, there are 3 words that we live by: then, now, forever, and the most important word of them all, together. And just walked out. And then he showed up on Raw, like unannounced. Showed up on Raw, cut a promo, just talking about John Cena, who legitimately they just had a package for. It was like, John Cena's gonna be here next week. And then that was it. And I think he came out one more time. But it's just crazy that this whole thing has blown up. So I guess what we're really going to talk about is, where do we go from here? Like, do you think Vince is stepping down? Do you think he's going to get pushed out? If so, is Steph going to be the permanent replacement? I mean, what do we feel like speculating with this?
That Steph is the chairwoman, and I think she is the chairwoman for the foreseeable future. I don't see Steph not being the chairwoman. I think Steph was next in line, honestly. If people, I think after once, I never thought Triple H was going to take over. I always felt like it was Steph. So definitely Steph is going to be the chairwoman for good. I think Vince will definitely be out of creative. I don't see him staying long, because the more, as we know, that somebody's got to out for Vince and out there at Wall Street Journal. So they're digging, and they're getting, as even after the initial report came out, we found out that there's 4 different women.
Right.
It's not just one. It's 4 different women, and they all have been employed, in the WWE for special favors. His time, the clock is ticking on Vince's time in WWE. It's whether it's illegal, no, it's not. But you still, you can't, I think it ultimately depends on what money he was using. If this was his personal money or if this was WWE money, and because you can't take, if it's his money, he might get out. He might get off free, which I think he ultimately probably will, because it's Vince. He's also, I also feel like, if it was a black man, he's out of probably, but him being a white male and a billionaire, he's going to go off, fly, just a slap on the wrist, hey bad, and he's still run creative till he dies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as of right now, what I see is that, because like one of the other people from the chair, like from the board, left just like abruptly, which just like walked out. And I think what's going to end up happening is that Vince gets removed as like the person. I think he stays in creative. I know you said like, nah, I think he's gonna be there. That's just gonna be his thing, because obviously like Vince still has a mind for the business, and he's very smart. You're talking about someone who legitimately took the idea from Y2J about the clock and then like interrupted The Rock's promo with it. I think I do see Steph kind of being that person that's going to be like, hey, I'm now the chairperson, I'm also the CEO, which I also think is kind of messed up, because like Steph was on vacation taking care of her family because of some stuff, and they're like, hey, oh no, we need you back now. Like, well, you took all of her responsibilities away and you gave them to Nick Khan. And like, yeah, I was like,
it's crazy, because she was definitely taking a leave of absence for taking care of her family. But hey, I don't think she expected this stuff about her father to come out,
right?
Or maybe she did know.
Maybe she did know. Maybe she knew something was up and she was like getting ready to bounce, because maybe someone tipped her off at the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Because I don't know. I've never heard.
I don't think here's the thing. Stephanie McMahon is as crazy enough as we we see it, because we literally watched Stephanie McMahon grow up, legitimately. Wrestling fans have. So, but I don't think people understand her presence in the business industry now that she is, being the brand officer for so long, and being the ambassador for the company, and now being the chairwoman. Like, Steph has some clout behind her name. People know who Stephanie McMahon is.
Yeah.
And so I don't, since we're speculating, because it's all speculation, right? I think she knew. That's why she took that vacation. I think she knew she was about to I think she took a leave of absence because she was getting the promotion. Hey, that's a word. Anyway, what's to say that she didn't know?
No, I mean, you're not wrong. I think to me what it is that maybe someone tipped her off, because like I said, like people outside of WWE always have nice things to say about Steph. Like, everything being bad. So I think it's interesting to see that she possibly came in, was like, hey yo, like I'm gonna take a leave of absence, knowing, because someone probably tipped her off at the Wall Street Journal. They're like, hey, you may want to get out of Dodge when this firestorm starts.
Mm-hmm.
And then like she gets out. And mind you, it's conspiracy theory going on, all right?
Right, that's what this has turned into.
Yeah, she bounces. She takes time. Story gets leaked out. They tell Vince they're gonna temporarily suspend him from the chairman of the board as well as the CEO. He says fine. They ask Steph to come back in. Steph's probably sitting in her backyard, getting a tan, sipping her Mai Tai, and was like, "Yep, CEO time."
Yep. Why not? Listen, just think about this 20 years, 30 years from now, when everything all comes out. And because how Vince took his dad's company and turned it into what it is now. What the cathartic way Vince, Vince has his company taken from him by his daughter. Huh? This is all a wrestling angle, but what do we know?
We don't know anything about it.
We don't know anything. But yeah, it's just, I think, in all seriousness, I want to say we don't condone that as far as, at least I'm concerned. I know the 3 Count podcast, like it's wrong because it's just wild. But then again,
hush money, like you're paying hush money to women after and that's the other part that we didn't really talk about, right? Is that you're paying hush money after doing your thing, and then like handing them off to your homeboy. Yeah.
This is bad. It's sleazy. It's real sleazy. But I said this on Twitter, and it did numbers because I'm like that on Twitter, low key. But yeah, man, Vince. This is no surprise. We know Vince. Vince has shown us who he is on camera. Like Vince has like shown his bare ass on TV and shoving other of his employees' face in his buttocks. Like,
but there's something to be said though, and Vince has always said this, right? I won't ask you to do anything that I won't be willing to do myself.
That's all fine and dandy. That's whatever.
That man did shove his own face into Rikishi's ass after Rikishi pulled up his thong.
Yes, that did happen.
And he also did jump off the crow's nest to Rob Gronkowski to show him like how to do it, and then just jumped off the crow's nest onto like a big platform at close to 70+ years old. Like,
yeah,
and was like, "Oh, don't be such a pussy, Gronk." He just jumped off. Like, Vince is let's be real, man. Vince is a wild dude. Like when they so I know Netflix was going to do that biopic about him, right? But if you look, like, Vince McMahon is like, he just knows how to draw, like, he knows how to draw numbers and he knows how to draw heat.
Yeah.
Like, that man is the master manipulator drawing heat.
Oh yeah.
Like, no one expected Vince McMahon to wrestle at WrestleMania 38. And here he comes. Now, mind you, okay, clothesline's looking a little sloppy. All right, Vince, you need to work on that. But, like, what? This man takes off his button-up shirt, has the black wife beater on, and he was just like, yeah, I'm just going to rock out this tank top why go and throw these clotheslines at fucking Pat McAfee? It's like, what?
Wild.
What just happened?
It's
So,
wild.
yeah, I was like, damn, dude, this is crazy. Like, Vince McMahon's still moving around like, yo, yeah, I'm a genetic jackhammer. I'm the new genetic freak.
Right, exactly. Not facts.
Oh man, it was floored. But
It's
yeah,
it's wild. It's wild. It's just a wild situation. But we knew, there's no surprise to me. We know Vince has shown who he is, the stuff he's done on TV and that. Like, it doesn't shock me. I have speculation on based on the information given of what you call it, of the women. I think I can picture who and what, but that's neither to be said near here nor there. I don't, especially out of respect for them. Like, don't need to be putting out blast people, like stuff like that, out on the air and stuff. And the people that are doing that, like, you're jerks. Like, legit, you're a jerk. Like, chill out.
yeah, some people just don't want that attention.
Yeah,
Keep it
like, it happened. Leave him alone. Especially if you think if you know who it is, really, and all your information, all your little clues and stuff line up, and it is. Leave him alone. But no power rankings. It's too much wrestling, guys. Okay, it's too much wrestling. Vacations, bookings. There's no this. You got him to give you his number one match of the week. There you go. There's your power ranking.
That's your power ranking.
That's your power ranking. Oh man. Thank you for those who made it to the end of this show. We're gonna wrap it up here for my PlayStation users. You get a trophy. For my Xbox users, you get yourselves an achievement. Alright, because we know how getting through the debate show can be. I get it. We know. But hey, thank you for sticking around for it. We try to keep it under at least an hour. We're right there at an hour, so we did good. We did good today. We didn't go on long tangents. So, before we get going, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and to all of our podcast platforms, whether that is Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. If it's a podcast thing that got podcasts on this, bro, listen, it's on there, all right? It's on there, okay? 3 Count Podcast. Make sure it says the. If you leave out that the, you probably won't find us. So make sure you put the and the number 3. The 3 Count Podcast, you'll find us there. Also, follow us on your favorite social media platform, or follow us on all of them, even if you don't use it, because I know y'all got Twitter and y'all don't be using it, so just get on that app. As I'm in the Speed Force and I'm back out. Come on, Barry, you gotta get out of here, man. Instagram, 3 Count Pod, all one word, no space. TikTok, 3 Count Pod, all one word, no space. Also, like us on Facebook at the 3 Count Podcast, where you can also catch us live. If you have not already caught us live there, you can catch us live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook Live, and quite frankly, you may catch us on IWTV soon. I'm putting it in existence. So, 3 Count Podcast Debate Show. I'm your host, your brother, your cousin, your nephew, your homie from around the corner, the Don Chaz Evans, here with the Red Dog, the Red Dog, Cliff Miller. Be there next week. Wait, yeah, we'll have a show next week. I'm not booked. Are you booked?
You know what? Until July 24th, I don't know. TBD.
To be decided. All right, so we might be seeing next week, y'all. Depends if Cliff gets booked or not. But we hope he gets booked. So hopefully we don't see y'all. But if it's unlucky, we'll see y'all next week for the next episode of the 3 Count Podcast Debate Show. Be there, or you know what? You pause this one, right? And don't pause. Just I'm gonna keep talking, but while I'm talking, you can hit back on your podcast thing or your video, or you click another video, man. Check out that interview we just dropped, okay? You check that one out right now, or check another episode. Just do it right now. Now. Hit it now. Right now. Do it. Did you do it?
Hey guys, it's the host of the 3 Count, Chaz Evans here. Make sure to let you know that I don't run shit, I don't do shit, I just talk shit. And make sure you subscribe to our podcast What else did you do? You should also follow us on all social medias. That's the Facebook at 3 Count Podcast, the Instagram at 3 Count Pod, and the Twitter at 3count_pod. Also, if you like us a lot, you should definitely buy a t-shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/3countpod, and that's the number 3. Don't be an idiot and type in THREE, because you're not going to find anything. So, make sure you follow us at 3 Count Pod or 3count_pod on Twitter and buy a shirt. Be there or be somewhere else.